Hello and welcome to today's free trading video and market analysis. I'm your host, Kenny, Senior Research Analyst with the MiniAnalyst.com. First thing we're looking at here is a chart of the market, the mini S&P 500 futures contract. Looking at a last print of about 810, we'll call it, came down to retest the very round and arguably psychologically significant level of 800 on this Wednesday. This, of course, was Tuesday, this being early Wednesday, midday Wednesday, we'll call it, January 21st, day after the inauguration of our new president. Did have a mixed picture last Friday, as mentioned, just kind of choppy. Did have some bullishness here, didn't really hold, fell back, completely obliterated the gap, went on lower, but we did have some divergences, as you can see, green here, suggesting that this move, any move, might not particularly hold. That was the case. We did get the V bottom and the trek back up to the upside, closed at around 855, which was essentially a double top. Now that we see that, we had a top here, tried to break above there, couldn't do it, just closed right back at this high. Again, a double top was the formation, ended up being an inverted W and a continuation move lower. Well, how do we know that the move was going to happen lower on Tuesday, the 20th? Well, you see in our proprietary indicators, bearish, 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 bearish was the case, and most notably was this acceleration in bearishness from our primary indicator, full lot bearishness in this indicator, bearish, bearish there. We did get the move lower, just really was any move back to the trend. Certainly that's what we saw, just kind of a consolidation until the trend came along, and then boom, we get the move down from, we'll call it 830 down to around 800 for a nice 30-point move in the downside based on this extreme bearishness in the market. So what happened today? Wednesday, we did get a bullish move, bullish divergence, we'll call it. Not particularly impressive, albeit. Did have some divergence here, still bearish divergences, though we do look for. Did have a little bit of bullishness there, a little bit of bullishness there, but again, just wasn't able to capitalize on anything. We did get to move higher above the trend, but again, another head and shoulders formation right here leads to a nice acceleration move down to the lower side to retest the very round 800 level, and that's where we stand now. We've just bounced, and we are back at the trend as the market decides where it's going to go. So that's the intraday perspective. We'll look at a chart of the daily. Actually, we'll go ahead and minimize those for you. And looking at a chart of the daily, the first thing we'll notice here is we are definitely below this key measure, 899, which is, I believe, where we went officially bullish after having booked about 500 points in profit from a discretionary official market timing basis. On the downside, we decided that we could go ahead and call the bottom, as it were, in the market. It has been an arguable bottom, but it certainly hasn't been a profitable bottom. The market really hasn't gone lower. We are about 100 points to the downside now as we retest again this 800 level. Given this acceleration move, the extension, the two-bar key reversal buy setup, we did have some very strong positive momentum divergences here, leading to this ascending wedge formation, which really just wasn't able to encompass, as mentioned, once we got back into this trend and horizontal resistance around this level of 900 to 950, we'll call it 940. We had mentioned that we would just still be bearish, had we not switched in an unusual effort our bias to the bullish side. So what are we now? We're still holding bullish, actually. Just another retest down to this band from 800 to 900, we'll call it. Still a great buying opportunity, we do believe. However, should we get a move lower, along with some other indications, given that we do have full bearishness here in terms of momentum, we're accelerating to the downside in terms of short term. Intermediate term has also come on board in terms of momentum as far as bearishness. Short-term bearishness has emerged here to reign supreme, as well as the intermediate, having the support of the intermediate term bias from a directional movement perspective being bearish. So definitely a bearish picture. All trends remain bearish. Price technical arguably bearish, although it definitely needs to hold above this 800 level if we do get below. Now see, the recent low was 747.78, so we have a little ways to go. I don't think that that once we get below 800, we'll call it 790, that the market's going to hold. So that should be interesting there. may just stop out around 790. We'll see how the market dynamics continue to play out. Meanwhile, that's from a discretionary perspective. That's just so you know where the market is and where it's likely to go. We're going to touch on our futures here. This is our new portfolio. It's we actually haven't launched it yet. It's just in the early stages, but it's two of our existing systems just grouped together to form another portfolio. Our dual day trader DS, which is our Dow Day Trader 5.0, and our Grind ES has been wildly profitable and successful. And so this is one of the systems in there. As you can see, beautiful winners on the short side, which is very impressive in this market, as most people's IRAs and long-term investments, the other 80 to 90% of their portfolios that they put other than with us continue to suffer. We are able to profit nicely on the downside, on the short side, so that's certainly very nice. A beautiful winner was the case yesterday on Tuesday for our grind, as you can see, going short around 835, we'll call it, holding for the whole of the move down to 800. But the other part, this is going to be a new dual day trader ES, and the other part is this right here. And we'll just pull that back up. This is our ES Day Trader 1.0. Again, this system is actually a couple years older than the grind. So systems have been around a very long time. Again, beautiful winners catching on the short side. Didn't really catch the trail move, trailing stop as we would like to know there. But again, a beautiful winner was the case again on Tuesday. Also holding for almost the whole of the move, actually getting stopped out on a little bit of a bounce, but 835. This portfolio actually isn't tracked, but obviously it would have profited nicely, about twice that of the dual day trader DS, which we're going to go ahead and switch over and look at. So that'll be the dual day trader ES, and there's the MFX Lite, but the dual day trader DS, which as one half of that, the Dow Day Trader 5.0 didn't trade. So $1,500 was the profit yesterday in the dual day trader DS, 31%. The dual day trader ES, the new version, certainly would have profited 60%, or essentially almost twice that. So we'll call it definitely 50+%, but again, we're not tracking that as a portfolio as of yet. But as you can see, over the last 8 days, a very nice gain of 50+% for our top three performers have been the MAP DT with an astounding 69. This is the original, astounding 69.03% return. 45% was a return for the dual day trader DS and the Swinger DT. Very impressive returns have been the case over the last 8 days. Of course, buttressed by the stellar moves that we saw yesterday on Tuesday in the futures markets. Big move down in the market, and we're able to capitalize nicely on the short side. Although this number right here for the MAP DT, we did have just on our Russell Day Trader 1.0, just stopped out, just a little bit of a swing high. If we had time, we'd show it to you, but we don't. Just a little bit of a swing high. Missed the profit, the bulk of the move, but you know, it happens. Every now and then you get whipped out of a trade, but as you can see, very impressive was the day yesterday in terms of gains, leading to an 8-day gain of 45%, and for those, and 69% for the MAP DT. We also had the MFX yesterday. An astounding 50% gain was the case. Here you can see it's a $10,000 very aggressive portfolio. $5,359 gain was yesterday, leaving a gain of over 50% in just a day. And this portfolio has certainly been on fire. As you've seen, it's up 450, 500% over the last, I don't remember, 21 days or a month or so. But if you are interested in any of these portfolios, most notably the MFX Lite, just go to the website, chat with the support team. If you have any questions, shoot us an email to admin@MiniAnalyst.com.